Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 59. And today we're gonna lead off with this other channel that I was watching yesterday. It's called the lady's name is Blemmy, and she has a cerebral palsy. I mean, she has a channel just dictated to cerebral palsy. And she said she had a couple things yesterday in a video that I watched. And she talked about how random strangers would come up to her and ask her like this real personal questions and like oh well, is there a cure for cerebral palsy, or you know how do you how do you get down? I mean, yeah, and by getting down, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say, but y'all get the drift right. And I've had people ask me the same questions too, and I really don't know how to respond to that. It's like, and so back when I was in college, I would but people asked me that question, and I wasn't, I wasn't shy or nothing. But after a while, I got tired of asking that question, or being asked that question, and so I simply told dudes like, "Yo, why don't you go ask your girlfriend if I can, if downstairs works, right?" And they'd be like, "Wait, what? Why don't you go ask your girl? Your girl, no, you know?" And in hindsight, that wasn't really the best move because that pissed a lot of people off. But and but I just got tired of answering that question. I got tired of being asked that fucking question because it's none of these people's business, right? And which brings me to Shouty. Not that she never asked me anything like that, but we was having a conversation the other day in the DMs, and because we still talk, we talk pretty much every day, but not to the extent that we was talking before. Um, anyway, she hit me up. She hit me up in the DMs, and she had commented on something, and I was like, all right, and then she goes, hey, you know what, like I'm proud of you too, love, and I'm like, so my ass was, I was genuinely curious, and so I text back like, yo, like boom, 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 like what you proud of, what you proud of me for, and and then she goes, well, well, I feel like this was a setup. I'm like, yeah, it kind of was a setup because I had asked the question, and like earlier, like several months earlier, I had sent her something else, and then she had commented on that, and then when she commented on that, we just kind of just kept talking, and so when she said what she said, and then she's like, well, I feel like this was a setup. I was like, well, 100% it was, because I'm curious, and I was like, I'm the type of dude that's like, you talk to a nigga, and it's like, I'm 5 steps ahead of you, how like how my brain is wired is I'm just 5 steps ahead of you, you know. And so she goes, well, well, not the point of the obvious, but the fact that it's like you live with a physical disability, and you don't let that stop you, you know. And it's like and everything that you've been through, everything that you told me, it's definitely it makes you know and I think you turned out to be an exceptional human being. And I was like, oh, exceptional, okay. And so yeah, I'm not I'm not one of them dudes who look for sympathy or look for pity or whatever not. Cause hey, bro, like I told her, my pops always said like the world's not gonna stop and cater to you. You gotta figure it out. Like it doesn't care about your situation. It doesn't care what you went through. It doesn't care what you're going through. You just gotta go figure this shit out. Because at the end of the day, everybody going through the same shit. Different levels, same devils. And at the end of the day, me and a partner was talking about the different stuff, and he told me the same thing too. He's like, he gave me a rundown, and he's like, bruh, he's like, I'm gonna tell you 3 things about you that you know, and he goes, what? And he goes, like, this is not positive or negative, but this is just me. He's like, number one, bruh, You the most honest motherfucker that I know, and that's fact. You know, like I just say shit off rip, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but shit, you know, like if I got something to say, I got something to say. And it was number two, and he goes, not everybody think like you, and he's like, he called it the G2 swag. He's like, you the type of cat that what do you say? He's like, you the type of cat that's witty, you know, that's witty and whatnot, and got humor. A lot of people don't, you know, they don't think as fast as you do. You know, it's like that's true. You know, it's like I'm the type of dude who will just, you know, like I said earlier, I will be 5 steps ahead of you no matter what it is. And if I don't fucking know how to get there, best believe I'm a team up with somebody who's already who's already better than me in that aspect or me in that arena. And so and he goes, well, the last thing that about you that he's like, you have a tendency to what did he say, to joke around with people, but not really be joking at the same time. I was like, yeah, that's a learned trait. And at the end of the day, that's something that I'm working on. You know, it's like I'm not out there trying to make people feel bad or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be me, you know, and I'm always be me. Because at the end of the day, I was raised to be, you know, who I am. You know, I was raised to be like like yo, I was that jigsaw puzzle, you know, who would never fit in with everybody else. You know, I was that nigga that was always subconscious growing up. I got, you know, I walk with a limp. You know, I had a little stutter, this and this and that. You know what I mean? Never was really popular with the ladies, you know, and now I'm like, I, I, I'm having girls tell me like, yo, you know, like you kind of cute, this and this and that. And I'm looking around like, you talking to a nigga behind me? What's going on? You know, it's like, and so I actually had this one girl that I'm talking to. She told me like, yeah, you know, I would double check for you, you know, any day throughout the week. And I'm like, I'm looking at her like, Shawty, what? What? What you talking about? You know what I mean? So, but again, I think that's just me just having the confidence built up over the years. I'm just going through not the same cycles or the same shit, but or just going through shit in general. I mean, it's like there's a lot of times where I've been in situations where um I had to always be on the defensive, you know, or like or uh when me and Shawty talk, or when we was going through our bullshit, I was not that I was fucking with her, but I was messing with her head for a little bit, you know, because I was, you know, the situation that that I popped up between us, you know, had caused me to, you know, to be a certain way, you know. I'm like, oh, okay, bet, you know, and it's like when I was doing all this shit, she didn't know how to respond to it. You know, she didn't know how to, you know, she didn't know how to react to it. You know, it's like she was just like, I remember she was telling me she didn't come out and say this, but like she was telling me like, yo, how come you treating me this way? What's going on with you? You know, like this isn't the Mikey that I know. And I was like, and but she basically knew why I was doing what I was doing, you know. And I'm not saying that it was right or whatever it was. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, I had to work on that flaw in myself, you know, because as great as I am, you know, at mediating situations or just trying to give advice, is like in that particular situation, I was too emotional. You know, I was wrapped up in a situation that um my emotions were still raw, and they still are a little bit. You know, every once in a while I catch myself, but you know, that's just me learning. You know, the other day, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he said, yeah, man, it's like a lot of these women out here that will try to mess with your head just because, and like they don't realize that it's like that we can play the same game too. You know, they don't realize that they know that like they think, you know, he was like, they think they slick when they really not. You know, it's like they out there playing the same game that we are, and it's like at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because, you know, if you really wanted to be with the motherfucker or vice versa, you know, y'all wouldn't play games. You know, if they really wanted to be, you know, who they say they are, you know, whatever it is, and they would be out there doing what they got to do, right? And at the end of the day, man, to wrap this up, I think it's imperative to, you know, to understand that, you know, like my partner said, he's like, yo, not everybody think like you. Not everybody got the G2 swag. And I'm the type of dude, I don't forget a lot of things. So when people tell me certain things, I'm be like, yo, but you know, but like you said this about like, you know, 6 months ago, you know, or I'll pull it up and, you know, whether it's a text message or just put it off from my memory, and I'll pull it off from there. I'll be like, yo, you know, the one thing that I hear people always say, like, oh well, I can't let nothing and nobody get in the ways of my goals, and I'm like, and that applies to anybody in general, because I've had many people tell me that exact saying, and I'm like, you know, I like they get off and you know, and they let something or somebody else or a situation dictate how they move, and I'm like, you really don't want them goals as bad as you say you do, right? And I think at the end of the day, you got to be real with yourself too. You know, you have to be real with yourself. You have to understand what you're doing, and you got to just do it for you. You know, like I think a lot of people talk about what they want to do. A lot of people do it, you know, and I do it to an extent too. Everybody wants to talk about like, oh well, I want to do this, I want to do that, boom, 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 boom. And so when the opportunity comes, they're not ready for it because all they've done is talk about it. You know, like, and that's half the battle. And I think because even for me, there's like there's certain things that I'm doing that I'm growing and and trying to become better at. You know, trying to, you know, keyword adulting 101. You know, I joke about it, but you know, like there's certain things that I'm doing, I'm ready for it, but I just psych myself out. You know, I mean, not that I psych myself out, but I get nervous because I'm like, yo, like, what if this doesn't work? What if this, you know, what if this fails? What if this flops? I'm like, yo, if it flops, okay, cool. Now you got a blueprint of what not to do. So I gotta constantly coach myself up and be like, yo, like you're not gonna fail. You definitely gonna fall, but you ain't gonna fail. You know, like you're not gonna be in a situation where where it's definitely well, it's, you know, where it's definitely gonna be detrimental to you. It's like, you know, whatever situation that you're in, you just gotta make the best of it. And when it comes down to it, man, that's what we gotta do. You just have to. I'm not religious or nothing, but like God will set you up to open up the doors that you talked about. You know, I don't care what it is. I don't care what arena that, you know, it is. It could be music, whatever it is. It could be fashion. Could be a career move. It could be whatever. It could be buying property, whatever. God will open up the doors for you to get to your goals that you say that you want to go to. You know, say that you want to reach. You, on the other hand, gotta stop doing this and start walking. You have to live what you haven't got yet. You know, you have to be prepared for it mentally, you know, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and not just, you know, not just financially. You know, so there's a lot of shit out there that other people want to talk about doing, but that's just it. They talking. They're not doing nothing with that. And so at the end of the day, when that does happen, man, when you find yourself like second guessing yourself or letting doubt creep in, man, tell that motherfucker what's up. Tell that motherfucker what's up because like you know that you're ready for this, man, and it's simple. Never talk yourself out of greatness, man. All right, y'all. Hope y'all keeping it the 4 P's. Private, player, positive, pushing. I'm gonna see y'all next week. I love y'all. Ghost.